You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Thursday, March 12th. I'm Johnny Connor. Thank you for listening to Four Things to Know. Let's get to our top story. Today, a federal judge heard motions from a lawsuit that Minnesota leaders filed against the feds for withholding $243 million in Medicaid payments to our state. Frankie McClister was at that hearing today, and here's his report from about noon.
The state here basically says that they are stuck. They're really unsure of what corrective proof of action that the federal government simply wants more that they haven't even provided thus far to the federal government. They also said that this money will go ahead, and if it already hasn't, impacted many lives here in Minnesota. Let's talk about the whole scenario from the start. It started in January when the Trump administration said that they'd withhold this money from Minnesota as a part of what the vice president described as, quote, an aggressive crackdown on misuse of public funds. Now, the state appealed that on January 13th, and early this month sued Dr. Mehmet Oz, who's in charge of Medicaid for the Trump administration, and also Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., saying that this move could force Minnesota to cut health care for those who qualify. Now, there was a hefty back and forth between both sides of the party. Here, the state said that the federal government has simply been tough to work with, and that the feds were not offering much clarity on simply what the state needs to provide. The judge at the end here inside of the courthouse said that they will decide on this, quote, as soon as we can.
Number two, supporters of the proposed Equal Rights Amendment filled the state capitol's rotunda this morning, hoping to change Minnesota's state constitution.
What do we want? When do we want it?
The Equal Rights Amendment would ensure state protections against discrimination. That includes race, disability, gender identity, and decisions about pregnancy, which would protect abortion rights. Supporters say the amendment would permanently protect equal rights regardless of which party is in power. The proposed amendment did clear the Senate Judiciary Committee last month. Now it heads to pass out of the Rules Committee. Democratic House Representative Lee Finke spoke about the need to guarantee equality under the law.
We are living again in a national era of discrimination. Discrimination is back on the table. They are doing everything they can to every community that we love, whether it's the trans and LGBTQ community, black and brown people, immigrants, people with disabilities, women, everyone who is not on a very short list of approved identities by the people in power is being actively discriminated against, and they are looking to make it worse every single day.
Republicans have problems with the language that would protect abortion rights, making its future uncertain. If the legislature agrees to put the proposed amendment up for a statewide vote, that would happen during the general election this coming November. And if the voters approve it, the Minnesota Equal Rights Amendment would go into effect in January next year. Number three, a Hastings woman is pushing for change after a crash with an e-bike left her with life-changing injuries. Janet Stotko was hit by an e-bike going 25 miles per hour on a sidewalk back in 2024. Now she's working with Representative Tom Dipple on a new law that would ban all electric bikes from Minnesota walkways. Stotko is still dealing with the aftermath more than a year later.
I will never regain taste or smell. Additionally, my ear hasn't stopped ringing, and I am being seen by a neuro team for open orbital rift fracture.
And our hope and goal is to keep as much momentum as we can behind this, so it moves all the way through the process and it can get to the governor's desk.
The bill is now set to go before the Commerce Committee before a possible vote in the House. And to your fourth thing to know today, the Minnesota BCA is investigating why Rochester police shot and killed a man last night. Police say they went to an apartment around 9:30 on the report of a man in a mental health crisis. Police then say that man grabbed an officer's gun while they were trying to take him into custody for a 72-hour emergency hold. After the man grabbed that gun, that's when police say another officer shot him. He later died at a hospital. We'll update you when we learn more about this investigation. Those are the four things to know today. Did you also know today it's a Next Weather Alert Day? Let's check in on our forecast.
Next weather meteorologist Adam Del Rosso checking in. Get ready for a wet and windy night here. We're talking spotty rain showers through this evening and tonight around the metro. You head north of I-94, more so north of the Brainerd Lakes area. That's where I think we're going to see this fall mainly as snow showers with a swath of 4 to 8 inches across northern Minnesota into the Arrowhead. Some locations along the North Shore could even see upwards of a foot of snow out of this storm system, but everyone's got the wind. We've got high wind warnings in effect for most of the state for the potential for gusts 50 to 60 miles an hour overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. Those winds eventually do relax as we head into our Friday afternoon and evening. I think we start to dry things up as well, but the clouds linger. It's going to be a little bit cooler tomorrow. High temperatures in the upper 30s. It's going to be a brief break before our bigger weekend storm system moves on in, bringing heavy snow to central and southern Minnesota Saturday night and through the day on Sunday, but we'll fine-tune the details of that storm as it gets closer.
And now, here's more to know.
We're working to learn more about an overnight fire in Minneapolis. It happened on 32nd Avenue South. We saw firefighters there last night putting out flames, and at this time, we do not know if anyone was hurt. We have reached out to the fire department and are still waiting to hear back. Over in St. Paul, a woman is in critical condition after she was hit by a car last night. It happened around 8:15 near White Bear Avenue North and Maryland Avenue East. Officers found the woman lying in the intersection. She was then taken to a local hospital. Police say the driver stayed on scene and is cooperating. Happening today at the state capitol, we're following the latest measure to honor the life of House Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman after she was assassinated in her home this past summer. The bill would name the currently under construction state office building after her. This building is where House staff and lawmakers typically have their offices. It's also where the Secretary of State works. Back in August, an online grassroots petition picked up over 2,000 signatures to rename the building after Hortman. This morning, students, educators, community partners all gathered to demand action on school safety. Following their rally, Teachers Unified to End Gun Violence delivered a letter signed by 500 educators across Minnesota urging lawmakers to pass an assault-style weapons ban and high-capacity magazine ban. Advocates say the push comes after a devastating year of gun violence across the state, including the mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic School that killed 2 children. Organizers say survivors, faith leaders, and lawmakers will gather tomorrow in the Capitol Rotunda to honor those lost and urge state leaders to take action. To another story we're following, an invasive and destructive pest has been spreading in Minnesota. Now the Department of Agriculture is gearing up to stop it. Spongy moths, yeah, you may have heard of them. They're an invasive insect which threaten the environment, economy, and human health. They feed on more than 300 species of trees and shrubs, making them more susceptible to disease and other issues. This year, the Department of Agriculture is hoping to use aerial management in 9 counties of southern Minnesota from mid-June to early July. Low-flying planes would send out a product that stops spongy moths from mating. That product is harmless to humans and animals. To see if your county is on the list and to learn more about the process, you can check out the MDA website. Let's talk sports. Another gold medal coming back to Minnesota. This time, it's from the Paralympics. Sydney Peterson won gold in the women's 10K para-cross country ski race. It's her 2nd medal of this year's games and her 5th overall. Peterson, she is originally from Lake Elmo. She went to the same high school as Olympian Jessie Diggins. Congratulations to her. Those Paralympians, absolutely incredible. We'll take another gold. Congratulations, Sydney. More Vikings chatter today. I can now report Kyler Murray officially in Eagan today talking with the Vikings. That's according to the Associated Press. It would be pretty shocking, I think, at this point if he didn't end up signing here. You know, there's been so much steam. He's in Minnesota visiting with Coach O'Connell and all those guys. So my gut says it's easily Murray, probably by tonight, maybe tomorrow. We'll find out. He won the Heisman Trophy at Oklahoma in college. Then in his first year of the league, he won the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. It's been up and down since then, though, but the Cardinals officially cut him yesterday. So get this, they're going to pay him nearly $37 million this season. So the good news for the Vikings, if they sign Murray, it's likely he will not ask for much money because he's making so much dough from his former team. Likely just be $1 million or $2 million bucks, get his career back on track. Kind of the Sam Darnold thing. Hopefully, if Murray's good, maybe we'll sign him again. Maybe we learned our lesson. I don't know. While they're back in action tonight in St. Paul, Philadelphia Flyers in town. Now, we know the Wild coming off a 5-0 win over Utah. They've won 7 of their last 10. Get this, just 17 games to go until the playoffs. Man, I can't wait for NHL playoffs. Puck drop at 7 tonight. Timberwolves, however, they continue to struggle. They're on the West Coast road trip right now. Late last night, they were taking on the Clippers. LA jumped out to an 11-point lead after the first quarter. They just kept the pressure on all game long. Ant had 36 points. That wasn't enough, though. Naz Reid had 18 points, but tough night for the Wolves. They got killed 153-128. They continue the road trip tomorrow night in San Francisco, taking on the Warriors. That's a 9 o'clock tip-off.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
We have some very exciting news about 2 of our colleagues here at WCCO. You've definitely heard of them, Frank Vassalero and Amelia Santinello. They have just been named inductees into the 2026 Minnesota Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Frank and Amelia have more than 50 years combined in Twin Cities television, 20 of those years side by side right here on WCCO.
Their impact goes far beyond what viewers see on television each night. Inside the newsroom, Amelia and Frank are known for something even more meaningful, the culture that they help create. They lead not with ego, but with generosity. They take the time to mentor young journalists, support their colleagues, and foster a positive, collaborative environment where teamwork matters more than individual recognition.
That was this morning when the announcement was made. Congratulations to Frank and Amelia. The Minnesota Broadcasters Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be in November. It's quite the honor, and they really are just great people to work with ever since I started here. They've been so welcoming, and all those words in the ceremony absolutely ring true. Well, I'm Johnny Connor. Maria, she'll be back tomorrow. You can listen to us every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock. This has been 4 Things to Know. Thank you very much for listening today. Let's talk to you tomorrow.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Maria Lizignoli, and this podcast comes to you from the WCCO podcast studio.
I'm Johnny Connor, and this is where you'll find the latest news of the day with us on 4 Things to Know.
I'm Mariel Mose, and I bring you the stories behind the female athletes redefining the game on women in sports.
I'm Adam Duxter. Join me for a deep dive into faith and what it means to Minnesotans around the state on Bigger Than Belief.
Stay in the know on the go with the WCCO podcast studio. Go to WCCO.com/podcasts.